Yes, I know, but I promise this is a good one. You'll want to check it out. But before we get started, really quick, I just put up a new set of plans on my website. It's for my little end table with the trapezoid top. I did a video on the math for the angles and everything a couple weeks ago. So if you're interested in maybe building that piece, go check it out. I will put a link to it in the description. But let's get to the subject of today's video, and that is getting really flat and seamless panel glue-ups. That used to be a shorter trip in the last shop. That's what we're talking about. This is a really easy technique that I use as often as I can, and I'm actually a little surprised I haven't talked about it until now. It works really well, and I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this, but like I've said in the past, if even one person watches this that doesn't know this technique, then I'm doing my job. All right, let's get into it. So it can often happen that when you've milled up all your lumber, oriented the boards the way you want them for the glue up, and you're just about ready to go, and then you notice there are tiny gaps along the seams. Of course, there can be quite a few reasons for gaps along the joints, but very often it is the result of your jointer fence or your table saw blade not being perfectly vertical at 90 degrees. And when gluing those two edges together, that slight variation from 90 will compound itself when those two edges come together. And if you end up trying to close those gaps with extra pressure, your panel will end up being anything but flat. Luckily, we have a very simple technique for virtually eliminating this problem.
It's almost too easy.
So once I have my boards all milled up and I'm at the point where I think I'm ready to glue, I lay them out and orient them in the order that I want. I will then mark each board right next to the seam with either an I or an O, and that stands for in and out. And this represents how I will orient each board as I run them through the jointer one last time. The I means that that face will be in or against the fence when jointing that particular edge, and the O means that that face will be out or away from the fence when jointing that edge. And as long as your ins and outs are opposite each other across each joint, you should be good to go. You can see here that I'm drawing lines on the ends of each board just to illustrate that if the fence of my jointer is off slightly, the neighboring board will cancel out any variation. So I set my jointer to take a very light pass and run each board through one last time. The two outside boards will only get jointed on one edge, and the middle board will get jointed on both edges. I just make sure to have the correct face against the fence depending on which edge I'm jointing. At this point, you can see that even without any clamping pressure, the seams are just about invisible. Now, with a small glue up like this, I won't use any dominoes or biscuits or dowels, as the boards are really flat and the glue provides plenty of strength. Though if I were doing a larger panel, I might cut in some dominoes just to make sure everything lines up properly. I haven't even sanded this yet, and it's looking pretty good. Super flat panel, and the seams are just about invisible, which is really what we're going for, right? All right, hope you enjoyed this quick tip. I was gluing up some panels and realized I had never talked about this, so I figured I would throw it out there. And of course, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I have a new set of furniture plans, so check out the link in the description if you're interested. Okay, that's it for now. This time I'm gonna leave you with some real life advice. Don't ever give up on your dreams, and don't ever let anybody see your seams.